Paul says this, "For we aim at what is honorable," verse 21, "we aim at what is honorable not only in the Lord's sight, but also in the sight of men." That's talking about stewardship. We aim to use the money in an honorable way, to steward it well in God's sight and in the sight of man. So for the next few minutes, I just want to show you briefly how we at Ekklesia handle the money that's given. This is a brief overview of where's the money going. Because I know a lot of you kings out there, you kingly gifted people are like, I'll give when I know where the money's going. Then some of you priests are like, I'll just give, I don't care, where's it going? And then prophets are like, we need to make sure and tell people where the money's going so that they know. So here we go. I'm the prophet, so I'm going to be saying this. Stewardship at Ekklesia. Offerings and money spent are overseen by more than one pastor. We don't have one pastor that's sitting over there and he's counting the money all by himself and he's the only one making deposits and he's the only one that knows what's going on. That's very quickly you get into some guys that are in greed and that they're stealing from the church. Have you ever heard about that? A pastor that's stealing money from the church? We try to guard against that. So who counts the money and who deposits the money and who knows what's going on is not one pastor. It's more than one always. It's usually the three of us, but it's at least two of us. Paid positions are managed and determined by those in unpaid positions. Right now, we're a small church body, and I'm the lead pastor, I'm the teaching pastor, the preaching pastor, and I'm the only one that makes any kind of a salary. I don't work another job. My full-time job is shepherding, preaching, praying, training, organizing for the church. So I'm paid and I'm taken care of. I don't set my salary. Pastors Josh and Pastors Nate, after prayer and talking to other pastors and bouncing these ideas and these salaries off of other people to make sure it's fair, make sure it's not too high and it's not too low, they determine this is what we want to give you and this is what you do. Generally, our paid positions will be about right at the same level with people that are doing the same type of job in the world. So my job right now is kind of like a school teacher. The amount of people that I shepherd and that I teach and I preach and I oversee is kind of like a school teacher in a classroom. So as that raises, the administration raises, the paid position will be more like an administrator at a school around here. What do they make? What does it look like? They have hundreds and hundreds of people that they're overseeing, that they're teaching, that they're guiding, that they're delegating. So we do it like that. We don't just look and say, what does Joel Osteen make? Let's shoot for that. We look at people who are doing the same feel of a job, teaching, overseeing, shepherding in the world, and we try to match that. Not above, not below. We try to do it fair. Does that make sense? That's how we try to steward money. Our budget operates month to month. So we don't set out a budget and say, I really hope we meet this in the year. We operate in a month to month, what comes in basis. Now some of you are like, I don't understand this. We're going to explain money this way. The reason that we do that is so that we don't go, hey, we've got $10,000 in the flower budget, so it's December and we haven't spent any of that money, so let's spend all the rest of the money in that budget. And we go, we don't really even have that money. And it says we do in the budget. Yeah, but we don't really have it. I have a headache. And I'm confused. I like things to be simple, and we want to stay month to month. So this is what it looks like. We have a fixed budget for taking care of our lead pastor, that's myself, me and my family, so we can pay bills, and we can have a house, and we can buy food, and I can take my wife on a date night. That's good stuff. So thank you for taking care of me. This is also the building, rent, and upkeep. We pay $800 a month for this building, and now $900 because we just got 3 more rooms over here for the kids. So the kids won't be right next to us. We should be in there next week. So that's great. We love being in this building. It's a great location, right? Awesome location. The parking's not great, but we'll figure that out. We can park at the Civic Center. But this is a blessing that does anybody remember when we used to have to unload and load stuff every Sunday morning for hours just to set up for worship gathering? Ryan's like standing up in the back, raising his hand. That used to happen, but now we're in a building. That's great. We want to rent the whole building out someday. By God's grace, hopefully, a lot of people meet Jesus, and a lot of people are growing, and we get to use the whole building. So also the upkeep that goes into that, we have another $100 set aside for that, and then worship gathering expenses, like the bread and the wine and the juice and the coffee, the donuts, things like that. We try to keep it simple, but, we get donuts because we want you to have a good Sunday morning. We don't want you to have, weird vegan food that's just going to make you mad so you're going to be in here and just mad. But we want to get some sugar in you, because we have long sermons and we want you to stay awake. So, we get some donuts. That's the fixed budget. Pastor, building, and then little things like that week to week. Okay? Then we also, the month-to-month thing works with an overflow budget, as we call it. I don't know if that's the correct term for it. That's what we call it. So it takes the money given above the fixed budget each month and filters it into 5 different accounts, 5%. So we have a fixed, and then what's above that filters. 20% into a diaconal fund, which is a fund that the money is just set aside so that when anyone in the body comes across a need, we can meet that need right away. With me? That's a good thing. That's what the early church did. That's what we see in the scriptures. So we set aside 20% of that overflow for diaconate. Another 20% we set aside for missions. And we believe that the Bible teaches the mission of the church is not just going to third world countries and feeding kids. Those are fine things to do. But the mission of the church is to plant the gospel by planting churches in different cities, locally and worldwide. And when you plant the gospel and you plant churches in cities all over the world, those people that have met Jesus are going to love and serve those people in their city. So just kind of do a 2-for-1. Well, if we could get Christians there, we wouldn't have to go to Uganda every year and try to feed and hold babies. The Christians there could actually take care of the people and teach and love and serve. So 20% goes to mission, specifically church planning, pastoral training, all that kind of stuff. Another 20% goes into savings, or what we call miscellaneous. I like trying to spell that word. Sometimes I get it right. Thankfully, my computer helps me spell things right. So it's basically we just set it aside, whatever we need. Whatever comes up, we've got some money set aside for that. And then 15% goes into Love Muskogee, which is our active, it's a mercy ministry, helping people that are in immediate need in Muskogee, and also throwing big events at parks and in poorer neighborhoods, just all over, to bring some joy and some love for the city of Muskogee. And then lastly, 5% of it goes into Ekklesia Bookstore, which we buy books and Bibles and study Bibles and kids' Bibles and resources and shirts and all that kind of stuff, and we give them to you for half price so we can get legit books and Bibles and study Bibles into your hands and into other people's hands. So I want you to know this, because I think when you understand, if you see this overflow budget, how we've designed it, the more money that we give doesn't mean the more money that I make, or we're just going to start getting really good juice and wine, really good bread. We're just going to get this massive building, and we're going to build a gym, and we can all come play basketball whenever we want. The more money that you give, the more money goes into the church to love and take care of and serve people. The more money goes to missions, sending the gospel out and planting churches. The more money goes into savings so that if we have needs, we can meet those. More money goes into our city to love it in tangible and serving ways. And then the more awesome books, Bibles, study Bibles, kids' Bibles, all that stuff that we can buy. That's cool, right? The more money we give, the more we give away to the glory of God, and the more we have to love and serve one another. So that's stewardship at Ekklesia. You're welcome for this little lecture about how we do things. But I thought this was a fitting week to do that.